Bowser's portrayal in the film depicts him as an exceedingly sadistic and cruel character, driven by a relentless pursuit of his desires and an unwavering readiness to eliminate anyone standing in his path. Analyzing Bowser's actions through the lens of power dynamics provides insight into his motivations. As a tyrant, Bowser craves control over others and seeks to maintain a position of dominance. His sadistic acts, such as his attempt to burn his prisoners alive, serve as an exhibition of power and mechanisms to instill fear in those under his captivity. By inflicting pain and suffering, Bowser endeavors to retain control of his subjects while simultaneously intimidating any opposition he encounters. For instance, his threats to destroy Peach's kingdom and the torture of Toad in her presence illustrates the power dynamics at play. The cruelty lies in the resulting power imbalance and the emotional anguish inflicted upon Peach. She finds herself trapped between protecting her kingdom and ensuring Toad's safety, invoking a sense of helplessness and despair. Bowser's treatment of Peach during their forced wedding further showcases his lack of empathy and disregard for her well-being.
I'll be sacrificing them in your honor. Lower the prisoners!
His decision to incinerate Peach can be viewed as excessive use of force that surpasses what is necessary and proportionate in response to her resilience. This excessive display of power and disregard for the consequences reflects Bowser's sadistic and cruel nature. Bowser is presented as an awful leader, particularly when it comes to his treatment of his own troops, demonstrating a complete disregard for their well-being and lives. Bowser's leadership style is characterized by a failure to remember their names,
Koopas! Goombas! Whatever those things are!
and a consistent pattern of mistreatment. Notably, a striking illustration of his callous behavior emerges when he incinerates one of his henchmen, pushing them to the point of transformation into a dry bones, simply because they dared to question Peach's willingness to marry him. This is not the reality that Bowser lives in. Therefore, he must destroy anything or anyone that goes against his self-made delusion. This act stands as a glaring testament to Bowser's dismissive attitude towards the value and agency of those under his command. The deficiencies in Bowser's leadership extend beyond his treatment of his minions. They encompass a lack of strategic thinking and a tendency towards poor decision-making. Despite bearing witness to Mario's unwavering determination and resilience, Bowser persists in taunting him and belittling him. Obvious to the potential threat Mario poses, this failure to recognize the true strength and resolve of his opponent, Bowser's inability to foster a cohesive and successful team is demonstrated when Mario, Luigi, and Peach join forces to overpower him and his Koopa army. This resounding defeat not only undermines Bowser's leadership, but also highlights his inability to cultivate unity. Bowser's infatuation with Princess Peach is a significant element driving the narrative. His obsession with her is rooted in psychological dynamics that shape his actions and motivations throughout the story. Bowser's fixation on Princess Peach represents an intense form of desire known as limerence, a state characterized by obsessive thoughts and fantasies about a particular person. From the very beginning, Bowser's singular focus on Princess Peach is evident as he schemes to forcefully marry her. His relentless pursuit of her hand in marriage stems from a combination of narcissism and a need for control. Bowser sees himself as entitled to Peach's affection and believes that by forcefully claiming her as his own, he can solidify his dominance and satisfy his egotistical desires. This infatuation with Peach is further accentuated by Bowser's distorted perception of love. He perceives his possessive and coercive behavior as a means of expressing affection, mistakenly believing that his actions are demonstration of his love for her. Bowser's infatuation is showcased in various scenes. For example, when one of his henchmen questions Peach's willingness to marry Bowser, he reacts with fury and burns the minion. This extreme response highlights Bowser's inability to handle any challenge of his perception of Peach's devotion, as well as his readiness to resort to violence when faced with resistance. Bowser's fixation on Peach blinds him to the growing strength and unity of Mario and his allies as they join forces to overpower Bowser and his Koopa army. It becomes evident that Bowser's obsessive focus on Peach has clouded his judgment, leaving him vulnerable to defeat. This serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the detrimental consequences of infatuation that overshadows reason and leads to poor decision making. Bowser's obsessive desire to possess Peach leads to a deep-seated fear of losing her, causing him to become increasingly paranoid and suspicious of others. One of the key factors that contributes to Bowser's paranoia is his deep-seated insecurity regarding Peach's loyalty and affection. He constantly questions whether Peach genuinely reciprocates his feelings or if she may be tempted by someone else, particularly Mario. This insecurity leads him to view any interaction between Peach and Mario as a potential threat, fueling his paranoia and driving him to take extreme measures to ensure her loyalty. Bowser's paranoia is evident in several scenes. For instance, when Mario approaches Peach in an attempt to rescue her, Bowser's immediate reaction is one of intense suspicion and jealousy. He interprets Mario's actions as a direct challenge to his authority and becomes consumed with the fear that Peach may be swayed by Mario's advances. This paranoia is further amplified by Bowser's distorted belief that possessiveness and control are expressions of love, causing him to view any external influence on Peach as a personal betrayal. Bowser's paranoia can also manifest itself in his interactions with his own henchmen. He becomes increasingly suspicious of their loyalty, fearing that they may have secret alliances or interactions to undermine his relationship with Peach. This paranoia leads him to be overly cautious and quick to punish any perceived disloyalty. Bowser's insecurities and paranoia blind him to the true strength and unity of his opponents. His obsession with Peach diverts his attention from recognizing the growing alliance between Mario and his allies. He underestimates their capabilities, believing that his possessive love for Peach will ensure his victory. This distorted perception hampers his judgment and decision-making, making him vulnerable to defeat.